This video is brought to you by Amazon Prime Video. Please enjoy. It's been a little while since we've delved into the story of New World, but now's the perfect time to talk about what I'm expecting from a lore perspective in 2022. Today, with the release of the season finale for Wheel of Time, Prime Video and Amazon Games are collaborating to support the show through an exclusive in-game drop. The drop consists of 2 weapon skins, 4 apparel skins, and 1 crest icon that will be delivered in-game. The drop should begin tomorrow, the 24th, and run all the way through January around the 11th. To get the complete set of this drop, you need to watch about 5 to 8 hours worth of New World Twitch streams to get your gifts delivered in-game. And if you're unfamiliar, Wheel of Time is set within a large fantasy world where magic exists and only certain people are allowed to access it. I've been watching along with the show for a couple of weeks now, and it really did end up surprising me. Even by the end of the first episode, it doesn't hesitate to drop you right into the action. With really cool special effects, great dialogue between characters, and a rich backstory to pull from with the Wheel of Time book, this is one I can highly recommend you check out. And as far as the drops, we have ourselves Nynaeve's coat, the red Aja cloak, Tam's blade, Oribus crest, Children of the Light, which are ivory robes you can wear, the Shadowspawn blade, which is the fearsome claw of a terrible dark lord, love the look of this one, and lastly, Egwene's cloak. Don't forget that you need to watch through a couple of hours of Twitch streams to unlock these, and with that, let's continue on to the video. So New World has always, since the Game Award trailer in 2019, had its story shrouded in a lot of mystery. We originally had no idea what Isabella would be or what purpose she would serve, but over time and with a lot of digging, we've started to gain some semblance of what's going on in the mystical land of Aeternum. If you're fairly new to the lore side of things, I highly recommend checking out my lore playlist that dives deeper into a big portion of the story and the characters of this MMORPG. Where the story goes next has been my biggest question for months, and it does seem like the next chapter is going to focus a lot on the area known as Brimstone Sands. And next year I'd like to dive deeper into upcoming characters known as Crassus, the Legatus Legionii of the 19th Legion, and seemingly the founder of New Corsica, Sophus Atticus. In the next few months I'm hoping to do another villain deep dive for these two, but in the meantime I'd like to recap some of what we know about Aeternum's more advanced stories and where it might be going. Throughout the year, between all the lore videos I made, one of the biggest theories I had was that at some point we may have a chance of breaking out of this island. Aeternum is surrounded by what's known as the Storm Wall, and via the main quest alongside lore pages, we do learn quite a bit about it in-game. The biggest revelation I found though is that the storm itself isn't the only thing keeping us and the main enemy known as the Corrupted at bay. There is something that rests within the eye of the storm that is confirmed to be the one and only Kraken of legend. There are various stories surrounding this beast, along with the sea goddess entity known as the Mother of the Deep. And when we read through these stories together in one of my previous videos, this became one of my newest theories about how we might get off this island. I started thinking that maybe we would find a way to offer a sacrifice to this Mother of the Deep who has been known to offer help to people that worship her. There's even stories about a ghost ship that sails along the coastline known as the Vendetta. This ship also fell prey to the beast and was highlighted in a previous New World Halloween video they did alongside the most recent team update. And for a long time I had assumed that the biggest reason we would have for even wanting to leave the island would be if the Corrupted, led by Isabella, had found a way to destroy the storm wall and began to sail off the island with the goal of conquering the rest of the old world. This is something we would be extremely obligated to prevent, so it would make sense that this would be the reason we finally got naval mechanics. One of the ways I was thinking they might accomplish this is by retrieving the box that Captain Thorpe had when we first got to the island. We later learned that the box actually contains what is known as Isabella's soul, and it seemed like if she got it back, it would make her stronger, maybe even strong enough to break the storm wall. Currently in the main story, we leave off at a part where we are now preparing to take on the Tempest, which is a nickname bestowed upon Isabella. And we do know that there is an upcoming expedition called Isabella's Lair. It'll be located in Shattered Mountain, and all we know so far is that for beating the expedition and Isabella within, we are granted the title known as Tempest Tamer. This leads me to believe that this is the expedition where we will end up killing Isabella herself. But my next big question would be what happens afterwards? In her last moments, does she find a way to break the storm wall, or does her death cause it, allowing for the Corrupted Swarm to finally escape the island? Or does it lay the path for her darker master to finally make his debut and bring the fight of the Corrupted to us himself? Since we do know that nor Isabella or Captain Thorpe are the true biggest enemies in this story. In fact, the person who corrupted Isabella, who goes by the name of the Heretic, still has yet to make his official entrance, and he is who I would believe would be the true dark god of the Corrupted or serve him. But I don't think we'll be encountering him for a little while after the new details I've learned. The next chapter of New World seems like it's going to focus mainly on the upcoming region of Brimstone Sands. This is a large desert region located in the northwest section of Eternum that pulls from an Egyptian theme with Roman influences scattered within. It'll feature an expedition so far only known as the Aeneid. The backstory of this zone will feature, like I said, the Legatus Legionii of the 19th Roman Legion known as Crassus, who does seem to have fallen to the corruption along with his loyal comrades. And more importantly, this zone seems like it will feature a lot of new details about the Ancients. Even after all we learned about them so far, there's still a large amount of mystery to them. Where did they come from? How many are left? How were they involved with the creation of the corruption? So many unanswered questions, and this next chapter is one that I predict will get us closer and closer to finding out the real truth. One big detail I have seen so far is that instead of the ancients being tied to a previous civilization throughout history, such as the ancient Greeks as I had previously theorized, it seems as if they might predate any and all civilizations themselves, as hinted at in one of the lore pages we'll be finding in Brimstone Sands, but also that before these civilizations existed, the ancients swam in the void between all things, that they roamed freely across the land, skies, and seas of all worlds and all times. This makes them seem even more godlike and mysterious, and a while back there was even a rumor to the idea that after we conquer Brimstone Sands, we might be going to the region known only as the last place the ancients retreated to when the corrupted took over. Keep in mind that the skeletons you see out and about in the world are not the ancients, but in fact the ancient guardians. They're servants of the true ones that once roamed these lands. The most up-to-date description of what these beings might have looked like are showcased via the statues you find around the world. In multiple lore pages in Mourningdale, these beings are referred to as the Beings of Four, and were said to be the true masters of the ancient guardians we fight today. But alongside that, we also have other clues for what we might see after Brimstone Sands as far as the story goes. For the ancients, we might be learning more about them as the story progresses, with these ancient glyphs being found in the game files and predicted to be a tool in understanding more about their language. But Amazon has said that over time there will be more historical characters and mythological tales and legends brought to life in this game. And just recently we were introduced to the first humanoid enemies we had ever seen, known as the Varangian Knights. Where they come from has been the biggest mystery to me, because when they were introduced, it was said that they had sailed down from the north, which I had assumed that the north direction had been fully consumed by corruption, but it sounds like there might be a far northern point that has yet to be touched by this plague upon the land. I do think it's possible that we might see another area with more humanoid entities, and the next civilization I can think of where this would make sense in this situation would be the Vikings, who have been teased multiple times throughout New World's history to have existed at one point or another. So far that's most of the details for what we have to expect from the next chapters, but in the meantime there are some really cool stories to come across. A while back I dived into the tale of the Emerald King on Eternum, who reminded me a lot of the Green Knight legend. And on top of that, there's a whole lot of backstory to be found in the game surrounding King Arthur and some of his experiences on the island. But as always, thank you very much for watching today. Don't forget to take advantage of the Twitch drops I mentioned and showcased, and have a wonderful night or day. Farewell.